Hello guys, how's it going? Welcome back to Shot on Video, where I take a look at films shot on good old classic VHS. And I'm going to talk about another one of my favorites. And this is the second film that Chester Novel Turner did, which he has stated recently that they are planning on making a sequel to this film. And just like Wood Chipper Massacre, this has become my new favorite film. And that is Tales from the Quadead Zone. I just love the cover of this movie. Looks cool, doesn't it? Now this has been regarded for a long time as one of the rarest films to get. And I believe a copy of the VHS sold for about over $600. That's how rare this movie was, because I believe that there was only like a limited amount of copies that were being sold and distributed around. Now, Tales from the Quadead Zone is kind of like, imagine a sort of Tales from the Crypt and a precursor to Tales from the Hood. But you'll be misled thinking that there are 4 stories in this. In actuality, there's only 3. And, well, technically 2 stories, the third one being the wraparound that connects the stories. The wraparound story is about this woman who lost her son, and the ghost of her son, comes to her and she reads him stories from, the Quadead Zone. The reason why there's only about, like I said, 3 stories is because the director said he wanted to reach his goal, and whenever he reached his goal of, I believe, an hour and 10 minutes, like an hour and 20 minutes or so, he's like, okay, I'm good. I'm happy with what we got. Kind of unfortunate because I believe they could have done one more story. One more story would have been good. The first story is called Food For? And it's actually a pretty interesting story. It's about this sort of backwoodsy type family who has this tradition of that they don't have enough food, and what they do is they'll have like 4 sandwiches set up, or there's only 4, and there's like 8 of them, kind of like that, and they would ring the bell, and whoever grabs their food gets to eat, while everyone else is just, they don't. The oldest brother gets tired of this tradition and decides to take a shotgun, shoot off a couple members of the family so that way there's enough food for them to eat. That's the story. And then there's another one, which I think is probably one of the best stories on here, called The Brothers, where the youngest brother gets a couple of his friends to go into a funeral parlor to take his deceased brother's body out of the coffin and bring him over to, the house, and the guy goes off on a tangent talking to, his dead brother about how he ruined his life, about how he caused his own wife to commit suicide, and all this crazy stuff. And his plan of revenge is to dress him up as a clown and all that, put clown makeup on him, clown costume, and bury him underneath the house. And the corpse comes back to life, and I'm going to spoil it anyway, he kills him. And then the last story, which is the wraparound, the husband comes home to visit. The husband comes home and starts beating on his wife because she has this nonsense of telling ghost stories or whatever. The wife ends up killing said husband or boyfriend, and she ends up killing herself to be back with her son. And the final story, there's this kind of neat effect that they do where the ghost of the mother is reunited with her son. She hugs him, and then she tells a story, and it's basically their story of, what happened to the son and the accident, and how they're joined together again, and how they're happy and they go off to heaven. So it's a very unique movie, and there's a lot of heart behind this. What Chester Novel Turner, lacks in special effects and lacks in sort of filmmaking, he makes up for in storytelling. And to me, this is one of his better films that have come out. It has a lot of heart, and it feels almost like a home movie. But not in a bad sense. It feels like very inspiring, very awe-inspiring, and I'm glad that they're going to do a sequel. And they have said that they might have, 4 to 5 stories in that one to help balance it out. So, let's hope Tales from the Quadead Zone will come back with even more stories, original stories. That's how these felt. These felt original stories, unlike what Hollywood's doing now. And this is probably one of my longer reviews that I've done because I wanted to talk more about a film I liked, much like how I talked about Wood Chipper Massacre. Well, I hope you enjoyed this series. Sorry it didn't last so long, but I can only review the Shot on Video movies that I own. And this is quite the majority of them that I own. Well guys, thank you for watching this series. and hope you have a great day.